an astrobiologist, if you are to say this is an important thing that I have done, and this is going to change the way we are going to send instruments into space, can you tell such a moment from your life as an astrobiologist?
So, when I joined Rosetta,
Mm.
uh, I was supposed to work on an instrument known as COSAC, COSAC, Cometary Sampling and Composition Experiment. That was the abbreviation of it. And that instrument was supposed to go to the comet, land on it, pick up samples, soil samples from a comet, put it in an oven, a small oven, which was not even bigger than your cuticle, nail cuticle. And in that oven, the sample would be heated up to 600 degrees Celsius. And the volatile molecules that would be released after the heating would go into something known as a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer. And once you go there, once these molecules, volatile molecules, go in there, you get a typical signature. And from that typical signature, you would be able to identify what volatile molecules were present in that soil after it was heated. Now, interestingly, the instrument and the spacecraft was already flying towards the comet. It was a 10 years sojourn for it. And somewhere around 2011, I joined the project. And when I joined the project, my supervisor told me that, look, this instrument has been lying vacant for 5 years. Nobody has touched it. Because he was having a prototype of that instrument, because he had built that instrument. So the prototype was lying unused. There were no takers for it. And so when I started working, they had a dedicated person who was taking care of that prototype. And whatever experiments or testing we did on those prototypes were immediately communicated to its sister instrument that was flying on the spacecraft. The spacecraft eventually landed. We made fantastic discoveries there. The discoveries came out in high impact factor journals. And later on, we realized that some of the instruments which were similar to ours, which were built specifically for going to a comet and sampling there, those were picked up by BAE Systems. So one of that instrument was picked up by BAE Systems. BAE Systems is a UK-based defense contractor. It builds every goddamn defense military equipment, including submarines. So the instrument that was flying on a comet, a modified version of it was spun off and given to BAE Systems, and BAE Systems then retrofitted it into the new Astute class of nuclear-powered submarines that UK built for itself. Now, I have been advocating to our scientific community, our space community in particular, that we should start building payloads, scientific payloads, and let them go to Mars, let them go to any other planet in our solar system or in interstellar space. But you should employ scientists and engineers who are creative enough to modify these instruments for Earth-based applications. And once you do that, you're commercializing that entire industry. Space exploration in this country has been deemed as a fantasy. It has been seen as a fanciful thing. It has been seen as a fancy of the rich. We have always been told that, look, this is a poor country, this is a developing country, we need not do these kind of fantastic projects. We need to be more timid, we need to be more grounded, we need to do that things that are necessary. Then the more extreme part of that is we need to focus on building toilets than building spacecrafts and satellites. The more extreme part of it. And in all this, I'll say that the scientific community now should get over all this, come forward and build instruments and spacecrafts in such a way that there are dual or triple applications of it. And only then space exploration will grow into an industry. Space exploration will begin to employ more and more skilled people. It won't be only ISRO or Department of Space Labs that will be employing them. The world is big enough. No single agency on this planet has been able to achieve without the support of common people, without the ingenuousness and creativity of common people. People build agencies. Agencies don't build people. So we have to look at it in that manner. So we have developed really credible institutions like ISRO. We have built credible institutions like the Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Space. But even then, in today's era, when countries, small or big, economically poor or advanced, they're all going in outer space. For instance, Luxembourg, New Zealand, okay? United Arab Emirates recently went to Mars. Arab Emirates does not have a history of space exploration, but it did.
Right.
It did through cooperation with Japan and United States. So with greater democratization of outer space, with greater human footprint in outer space, India's space program cannot be left to a tiny group of people. You have to expand that human resource. You have to bring in more people, and you have to develop newer perspectives of looking at space and why to go to space.